All right, good morning. So I have the fan braces glued up on this guitar, and I am now ready to get the heights together. So remember in a previous video we did the thickness. We've adjusted them for the top. We've got them glued down, and now get over here. I have them on the bench top. Now, just a little bit off camera here, I have my plan, and in the background I have my glue. I'm hoping this morning that I will get these all to the correct height and shaped, and then at that point I can glue on my two-tone bars. So that's where I am this morning. Now, my plan, of course, is backwards, so the left side of my guitar over here, which would be the treble side, is on the right side of my paper. I have to remind myself that, because if I don't, I will get it wrong. So what I'm going to be very carefully doing is checking height and moving. So my first one here is supposed to be 3.5 millimeters over here and 3 millimeters over here. So we're at 4 to 5 millimeters. I'm going to very carefully remove some material. Come the other direction, maybe. When in doubt, go the other way, right? There, and too tall. Never likes to clog. That one's good. I'm going to continue in like manner for all of the rest, following my plan exactly as I can. All right, once I've done that, I'll come back on and I'll show you how I get the taper or the shaping of the braces. All right, so now I've got everything down to the height that it needs to be. So I've got some differing heights here, even differing between ends. So for instance, this one is about 3.5 millimeters over here and 3 millimeters here, whereas the next one, this one is 3 to 2.5 and 3.5 to 2.5. And then these ones are all the same height across the board, so 3.5, 3 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 3.5, 3.5. And then they all have differing widths. So that's something unique to this plan. Not every plan is the same. I have worked other plans where they are different heights and widths. This plan in particular as well. So now my plan calls for each of these to have a taper. I like to use a chisel to do this. If you've got a small plane that you feel confident in, you could probably do that as well. The basic part of this is that you're going to very carefully start on a corner and take off a little bit at a time. You're just shaving a little with the grain to make a conical, rounded top. Just go slow and very careful. And this one is wiggling on the end, so I'm not going to do this one. I noticed that this one is not stuck down real good either. So on the end of this one I have some play in the brace. So what I will do is when my glue is hot, I will come back in and re-glue that and re-glue that and get them down to the top. And then I will come back and finish shaping them. So let's do this one. I know this one is down real good. I've been kind of trying to shake them to make sure they're all down. That's the beauty of this particular glue. If you don't get them down the first time, you can come back and reheat it and get it right. If this was tight bond and I didn't get them down as well as I needed to, then I would have to go back and plane the brace off, clean the glue out, and start it over. In this case, I will just reheat it, tack it down, and let it do its thing. And be careful as you go across the bridge patch not to mar the bridge patch. Depending on the brace, sometimes you will find that going the other way, the other side, is not good. In other words, like the grain doesn't work with you. So be careful. Keep your chisel angled. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm angling chisel so that my bevel is away from. So if this is my brace, I'm always coming at an angle like this. So I go to the other side, I come at an angle like that. And so on the front side, you can see that it's angled this way. Partly to make sure I don't tear out, partly to make sure I don't go too deep. I'm making a particular shape here. We're just crowning it in the middle. So sometimes when you do this, the grain is moving in such a way across the brace that you have to come the other direction with it. For example, I may have to come this way. You'll find as soon as you start to get in there, and you'll find the grain will tear out. You'll have to start back a little bit. We want to keep the height in the middle because that's our strength. We're trying to remove some waste from the edges in order that we reduce the weight of the brace. Wide, fat braces are heavy, harder for the guitar top to move. Narrow, tall ones are lighter and stronger. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing. You can see this brace, see how it looks different compared to the other ones so far. I will come back when I am ready to scallop on the ends, like is recalled from my plan. So, alright, so I had to add some glue to a couple more. I found that on the end of this sixth one it was loose, so I had to add some glue under that one. And like I said, on these first two I had a couple of spots where it needed some glue. So when the glue was hot, I went ahead and re-glued those, and I have those underweight. And since I'm already pretty much done with these, I just need to do the scalloping on the ends. I went ahead and glued, because the glue was hot, these two tone bars. And we're going to let that cool and dry. And once that's ready to remove from the weight, I will do that, and I will show you the next step in tapering those tone bars, scalloping them on the ends, scalloping these fan braces. And then it's to putting the box together, which is fantastic. So we're coming right along on this. Alright, here we go. I'm working on, I've got all of these glued down and pyramided. Showed you how to do that. Now I'm working on these little end pieces like this, right up at the very ends of the braces. And I'm going to back up just a little bit so you can see. So if you need to scallop them, you can put the bevel down and do this, and you can scallop that out. But these are clearly angled, and it's really only angled in that last centimeter. So the bevel goes up, and I'm kind of working the chisel back and forth a little bit, being very careful not to mar the soundboard, making a very definite straight ramp down the brace. Get just as close as I can. Now, I don't want to mar the soundboard, but I'm just making a nice little ramp. I'm doing, these are all bevel up. So and this is after you've already pretty much worked the brace. It's to height and shape. We're just serving up the edges here. I haven't touched the tone bars yet. They're glued on. But they're basically going to be done very similar to what I did with the tone bars on the back. Cross braces. Alright, those are ready to go. My plan also calls for some really thin reinforcement right here. I don't know that the guitar really needs that. My guess is that these braces are very straight. They're not parallel with each other. They have some fan to them, but they are straight up and down enough that the lengthwise straight grain of the top does come into play. So my guess is that those are there because he felt that the original person felt that they needed a little more reinforcement there. So I may consider that before I move forward, but I don't know that it really needs it. So next thing I'll do is work on tapering these and then scalloping. So that's the next on the list.